My friend didn't invite me to his wedding. I just found out he's never lying to me.
No, just tell him that you never liked him first. That'll get him.
A friend, Greg, 28, in my circle of friends met Shannon, 28, about 5 years ago, and they immediately hit it off. Everyone instantly fell in love with Shannon because she's friendly and really fun to hang out with.
Everyone loves Shannon.
They were everybody's favorite couple and really made our own hangouts very fun. We all knew they were perfect for each other. They both made our crew that much better.
Yeah, it's the perfect situation that could never go south.
By the way, this comes from feeling left out on the r/OKstorytime subreddit. The engagement was expected, but much welcome news. Our friend's circle was buzzing about the inevitable wedding. Then the invitations went out. You know those save the dates magnets that people send out? Well, it really sucks seeing them on everyone else's fridge when I visited friends, knowing I didn't get one and wasn't invited. Feeling left out really sucks, but it gets worse. I completely understand how stressful wedding planning is, and I believe nobody should feel that way when they have to invite people they don't want in their wedding. It's their day and their ceremony. They shouldn't have to have people there who they don't want there. I didn't cause a fuss or express to anyone that I was hurt and that I felt excluded from the wedding, and by extension, excluded from the group. I didn't want to be looked on in a even worse way that I feel I was apparently being looked at, but no one actually stood up for me. When their wedding came up in conversation and people talked about booking flights and rooms, destinations in New York City, eventually I was asked if I booked yet. I said, me and my girlfriend, weren't invited. Nobody could believe it. But I insisted that I wasn't upset because I know how situations like this can go. I didn't want to cause any trouble because then the happy couple might resent me. Then I'd be the bad guy.
Yeah, you don't want to be the bad guy.
You just don't go to the wedding, I guess. I heard through other friends that my friend Tracy thought it was really messed up that I wasn't invited. She and I never spoke of how I wasn't invited to the wedding, but she really felt a certain way about it. So a month before the destination wedding, I got a text from Greg basically saying sorry for forgetting to send an invite, but that they would love to have us come to the wedding. It was way too late at that point for me. This is a pity invite. I couldn't get away from my job, and I didn't have a chance to put money aside for a year for an expensive New York City destination wedding like everyone else did. I didn't even get a save the date. Every flight and hotel, no rooms were everyone else was staying, obviously, too late for that, was affordable for me. I texted him back and said I couldn't make it. The wedding came and went, and I felt bad about everything. I saw the Facebook pictures of my friends all having the time of their lives. It looked like a great wedding. There's even a picture of just the group of friends labeled the crew.
The crew.
I didn't think I'd ever felt so left out, honestly. It really made me feel worthless and unwanted. So naturally, the typical thoughts surfaced. They don't like you. They think you're annoying. They think you're an a-hole. If you can't identify as a shumruck in the group of friends, that means you're it. They think you try way too hard to be nice. They think you're a phony. Then, as if I couldn't get it any worse, Shannon messaged me on Facebook asking why I didn't RSVP. And they said they missed me at the wedding. RSVP doesn't one have to be invited in order to RSVP. Everyone got a year to prepare between getting save the dates and actual wedding invitations. I got a text from a month before the wedding. Just as I feared, I'm being made out as a bad guy and even made a point to keep my feelings to myself to play it cool. But as usual, I didn't say this to her because I know how I would end up looking. I actually apologize for her. I don't even know. But I made a point to mention how I spoke to Greg about it. I also made sure to compliment the wedding pictures and say it looked fun. I did everything I could in that conversation to make it easier for her. And of course, I feel like a total schmuck.
Yeah, you should have stood on business there, buddy. That's what I'd say. She's like, why didn't you RSVP? It's like, well, I couldn't RSVP. I didn't get invited. And then she'd go, what? And I'd be like, well, I mean, yeah, I wasn't going to make a big deal out of it, but...
I got 3 paragraphs and then 2 updates.
Oh, boy.
But no, I agree. I would have been like, oh, I got invited from Greg a month. He said, yeah, I would have definitely mentioned.
It's honestly fishy the way that he just put that. It's like, maybe it does sound like they don't like you because you're maybe a bit of a people pleaser.
You don't have a backbone.
You're not real, dude. You should have kept it real in that moment. Didn't feel like you were being real.
Come on. That was this past summer, and I haven't seen them since. I feel like that's it for me in the group now. I see some of the friends in our group every now and then, but everything feels different now. None of them even responded to my birthday party Facebook invite this month. I feel like things are being said behind the scenes and I feel completely out of the loop. It felt like a passive-aggressive message that maybe Greg and Shannon never liked me. My fiance gets along great with Shannon and she's just confused. Seeing her confusion, that makes my heart break even more because she's a sweetheart who's never offended anyone in her life. I wish I could break it to her that I'm just the guy in the group that Greg and Shannon think, but I don't know how, and it feels like a complete loser who deserves this. I'll always appreciate Tracy for sticking up for me. She may never know how awesome it feels hearing how she told everyone it was messed up that I was left out. Dude, W Tracy.
Get yourself a Tracy, okay?
A friend, Tracy. I haven't even spoken to her about it and about how the whole thing made me feel, or anyone for the matter. Reddit, you were the first to hear about it. Because I didn't want to appear like I am making a stink and even become more disliked. This whole thing I feel like I don't have any more friends. And to make it worse, soon I'll have a wedding of my own and I'm afraid I won't have any friends there. Except for Tracy, of course. How am I supposed to handle who I invite so it doesn't seem like I'm leaving people out for petty revenge? How the heck do I even navigate a toxic situation that I had no hand in creating? I feel like I'm in the dark or could be overreacting. What the heck? I wish I could see this friend group and know who these people were so I could really understand the full context.
Yeah, there's clearly something that we're missing here.
We got 2 updates, by the way. 2 updates.
It always feels bad to be excluded, right?
Oh, yeah.
No one likes to be excluded.
Nope.
But OP to say that, like, this is a situation that he had no part in creating, it's like, you weren't the genesis of this situation. Like, that started when you weren't invited to the wedding, but you not saying anything about it or expressing any way about how you felt about it until literally this post is what he just said. That in and of itself is you participating in this toxic affair. Like, if you just clearly stated it outright that, like, yeah, I didn't get invited, like, just asking Greg, like, hey, was I not invited to your wedding?
Because this happened like June, July.
As soon as you found out you weren't invited, you should have within like a week reached out to them and been like, hey, so what's going on? Am I not invited to your wedding? I would just like to clarify that.
Yeah.
And is something wrong? Are we not cool? You know, by being that passive, like, you've kind of allowed this situation to become as stinky as it is.
Yeah. Update. And then we have another update. 3 days later, I have took everyone's advice and brought it up with Tracy. She just confirmed that Shannon was full of crap when she asked me why I didn't get my RSVP and wanted to absolve herself of guilt. I'm sure if they ever forgot or I just wasn't invited yet, but Tracy said we'd talk about it more tonight when she gets off work. So Shannon was on Greg's side.
Yeah, Shannon was like low-key trying to be like, oh, why didn't you RSVP? It's like, you know why he didn't. You know why, Shannon.
Oh my gosh, that was clever.
This sounds like a circle of friends you don't want to associate yourself with because they're literally conspiring against you.
Yeah. Because Shannon and Greg led it and now Tracy's kind of done with the group of friends because Tracy was probably there.
Yeah.
She's the informant.
Get yourself a Tracy.
Final update. I spoke about it in depth with Tracy. Turns out Greg's best man, someone who was never in the gang but grew up with Greg, always hated me. And Greg thinks I'm annoying. Shannon later felt bad that they chose not to invite me and pressured him to invite me over text knowing I wouldn't be able to make it. Also, it wasn't only Tracy who thought it was wrong that I didn't get an invite, and the chatter is what made Shannon think why I didn't RSVP, to make it seem like my invite was lost in the mail. You will never be lost if you join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile.
That's right. You'll be found right here in the comments section. Sounds like she heard all the chatter about, like, where's OP? Why isn't OP here?
Yeah.
And then she's like, hey, wait, I wish you could have made it. Why didn't you RSVP? It's like, come on. But again, I'm not saying this is OP's fault because he didn't start this, but his lack of straightforward communication about it, as soon as he realized how he felt about it, allowed this to sort of persist. You know, I understand not wanting to be the guy who, like, makes a big deal out of anything, but it's like, you're not necessarily doing that if you're just asking, hey, did you invite me to your wedding? Because I didn't get an invitation. That's literally just asking, did it get lost in the mail? What's going on here?
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It sounds like Greg and Shannon are not your friends.
No.
And Greg's, whatever his best man is,
Yeah.
thinks you're a tool for some reason, which that sounds like a tool, man. He sounds like a tool.
It feels better than knowing this because, like I said, they don't have to have people they don't want at their wedding. But knowing Greg doesn't like me effing hurts because I always thought we were friends. Turns out he's a phony. Unfortunately, everyone else, except for Tracy and a few others, liked Greg more than me, so they kind of felt like they had to choose a side after Tracy. And a few others, it turns out, brought up why I didn't get invited. Lots of people feeling guilty about this, apparently. They still feel like they had to choose a side for whatever reason, probably because most of them went to high school with Greg. Oh well, that's life. Thanks for the advice about being more assertive. Those of you who were polite about it were very helpful. Thanks. Who the heck was not nice to you about this?
I mean, I can definitely see people being like, this is your fault because you didn't speak up because you're a little beta. And it's like, that's not, no. It's a delicate situation to bring up, but it's like,
Politics, man.
just be a little more assertive about it. Next time, take an active role in figuring the situation out.
Yeah. Exactly.